This month, I played One Leaves. It is rated E for everyone, which is actually kind of surprising. It is a game produced... Oh, okay, I'm just gonna... Fuck me.
Pass. We're in my room. I don't need those thoughts every time I go to bed.
As if you don't. You text me every night before you go to bed.
No.
Most nights.
Most nights. It's usually just a good night text.
It was developed by Oath Inc. and Wahoo Studios. It was released on PC and Xbox. I played it on the Sexbox. It was released in early 2019 for free. It is a free title.
Japanese consoles can't have anti-smoking propaganda.
Probably.
That seems like a racist joke, but I can't figure out how.
I don't know, they live longer than us Americans, so...
Oh, so actually, the Japanese don't need this propaganda.
There we go.
It's anti-everybody else.
Yes.
I see.
So its official synopsis reads, you find yourself in a hellish labyrinth trapped behind a steel cage. There are 3 others unfortunate enough to join you. You will need to breathlessly run through an abandoned high school, a creepy hospital, a terrifying morgue, and seemingly the depths of hell itself.
Are you trapped in there with them, or are they trapped in there with you?
I don't know. Beans. Racing against your peers, you will need to keep your wits about you, solve insidious clues, avoid demonic obstacles, and ultimately find your way to the exit before it is too late. The One Leaves game puts players to the ultimate test where they will find out if they will be the one who's lucky enough to escape. Sponsored by The Real Cost, the One Leaves game is based on the fact that 3 out of 4 teens who think they'll stop smoking don't. So this is literally like an FDA and The Real Cost funded game from developers I've never heard of before. So I'm under the impression it's basically like 10 dudes in a dorm who were given the license to like make their own company.
It almost kind of sounds like Dead by Daylight a little bit.
Vibes aren't the furthest things away. So I had no idea what this was before I saw the teaser image. And I was floating through and finding free stuff. Free and cheap games, because I do that sometimes because I'm cheap. So I saw the teaser image and I was like, that looks creepy. I'm going to get it. So it's a first-person puzzle speedrun game, basically.
Nice. Speedrun strats.
Yeah. So on its base concept, I actually think this could have been really, really phenomenal if it basically was given to a real dev team, or not to be rude, a real dev team, but a dev team with a budget.
Somebody with money.
Yeah. So
more than $10.
For the fact that it was basically a PSA, I think it's interesting. I kind of like things like this. I have no clue how the marketing actually works, if they're effective or whatnot, because you know what you're getting into when you download it. It's not like it's hidden. But like, for some reason, I always like these weird, like, I don't know. The Real Cost and Dare do like weird stuff, and I'm not sure if it works any better. Probably not. Dare makes people do more drugs than they did before. That is a fact. But I think the concept is kind of cool. Like, give them something like interactive to do. Make it fun. How does this
stack up to Chex Quest?
I haven't played Chex Quest.
I love Chex Quest.
You've brought it up a few times now.
That was my first video game ever.
Seriously?
Yes.
I think my first one was like... it was those educational, like, elementary school games that you get on a CD, or it was Frogger 2, which I have a lot of nostalgia for, and one day I will review Frogger 2 Swampy's Revenge on this show.
I'm pretty sure... I can't quite remember if it was on floppy, but I think it was on a CD.
Wow. And
it definitely came in a cereal box.
That's insane. Basically, this is a game that is completed in roughly 10 minutes. There are 3 major levels, literally. You're underground. So you start off in this cage, and there's an announcer, and there's like spooky red, like ashy text on the wall. It's like
ashy, get it?
It's like, ooh, you're gonna die. Like, it's really vague, ominous crap. This technically is like the buggiest game I've ever played in my life.
Oh my gosh.
I swear this thing was actually developed over a weekend with like pre-made textures, and like they just found this stuff on like a website, and they're like, crap, we have to make something out of it. And then they did it in like a weekend with one playtest. there's basically one way to play it. Like, there are other paths in certain areas of the game in the second level, if I remember correctly. But, like, basically there's only one way to do it if you're going to actually go for time. And that's one of the things is the achievements. It's a full 1,000 G points, which is great. And you can get almost all of it on your first playthrough. The last one requires you to beat the game 20 times, which I did.
What?
It's not a matter of getting all collectibles. There are things for that. There's like no collectibles in this thing. There's a handful of locations you visit that it's like, oh, hey, you found the blackened lungs, or like the whatever, like there's like random body parts. Effectively, the setting is supposed to be you're stuck underground and this location is like kind of haunted or whatever, so it's different places you would be as like a smoker. So it's like it starts off in school, then you go to the hospital, there's a morgue, and then you escape out into the real world after going through sewage. It's real weird.
Is there a green room?
No. The Green Room is such a good movie.
Is there a white smoky room?
There is a smoking lounge, and there is a white room.
See, you mentioned Dare, so I'm going off in that direction.
Yeah, no. Nice try.
Man.
Yeah, so basically, you can play it through your first time and just stumble through it in like 15 minutes, and then you just have to remember a handful of turns and like some tricks. The puzzles are required to like beat. There are no alternative solutions. There's one thing you literally have to backtrack. Like, yeah, it's weird.
Do you get to choose your class? Are you like
there are no
quarterback? Or
you're just 4 random teenagers. That's
goth girl.
Nope.
Man.
Like I said, there's a lot of interesting. There's some potential here for sure.
The goth girl would rather just die anyway. So
she'll just sit down. Yeah, there's a puzzle in a library that involves moving bookshelves, which is basically only solved in one manner. It's weird. The NPCs, you can't even really call them that. They're like flat textures. They will come across, like you will come across them later, but they are not actual NPCs. They are specifically triggered events. You'll see one dart in front of you at like this junction if you're within this time frame type deal. You know, you hit a trigger for this one at this spot and whatever. It's not real. So you have to gauge your timing based off of 2 factors. 1, just flat out timing it yourself. 2, how fast, there's more like 3 ways. 2, about how fast you are compared to before. So how many times you get stuck on like a random wire on the ground because it's that buggy, or how many extra turns you had to take because you got lost or whatever. And then 3, the elevators between levels will tell you what place you're in, but it's like it's a little light in the corner of the elevator. It's a stupid system. So there's no real way to gauge how well you're doing, except if you've done it a few times, you just kind of know.
If 1 month from now the federal government funds PewDiePie to film an overreaction video to this, we get a cut of it.
True. Very true.
I would be so pissed off if that actually happened.
Freaking hilarious. It's clearly our doing. Our FBI agent, more like my FBI agent, who watched me play this in a bathrobe for like 3 hours straight. That's all I did. But I just sat down. I was like, I can do this. And then I just kept running it for like 2 hours ish.
But did you smoke while you ran it?
No, I did think about it just for funsies. Anyways, there are a handful of spooky scenarios which I did think were not the worst things imaginable. The general vibe of the fact that it is a not totally procedurally generated building. There are some parts of the levels that are randomized. You can figure it out if you've played it more than once. But the fact that it changes is kind of cool. There are some sound design wise stuff that's kind of interesting. It's got a... I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a bitch, but first-person horror games are really easy to get me sucked in atmosphere-wise. The graphics are atrocious, the textures are bad, the polygons are low. This legitimately feels like a game that I made when I was taking coding classes in high school.
Original Tomb Raider polygon low, though?
Higher than that.
Dang.
You can tell this would have easily run on last gen, and by last gen I actually mean last gen. This could have run on a 360 or a PS3 easy.
What about a GameCube?
No.
Really?
No, probably not. It's so poorly optimized. It's just nuts. Anyways, I liked the idea of it. I liked the vibe. I kind of had fun. And then after about the third time, I went, oh, no, I have to finish this now. I can't leave it undone. I have to do all 20 so I can never touch it again. There's a handful that, like, you bump into... You may have to boot it up twice to get all the quote-unquote collectibles. Like, some of the rooms might not generate in certain playthroughs, so it's like you have to find, like, the diseased mouth or whatever. It's just something you'll come across in a hallway, and it's not there in one playthrough, so you have to do it again. Like, little things like that are kind of... They're kind of cool. There are...
How often did you find the diseased mouth?
Almost every time. I'm really good at that. Almost every single... Most of the corners have, like, false endings and, like, dead ends and crap. And a lot of those have the glitchiest ending I've seen in my life. But, like, basically, most of those turn into, like, a throat or, like, a mouth. Like, you're going out the mouth. But then the teeth turn around and then they come at you. It's really weird. This game wants to be like, ooh, you're inside someone's body, but also not commit to it at all because a lot of it makes no sense. There are, like, no... I thought there would be at least some cheap jump scares that would be like, they're so buggy, they freak me out. There is nothing. It's just some general atmosphere, some smoke, some really bad lighting. And then the final level that takes place in the sewers I thought was kind of cool. It's like running through, like, veins sort of deal. That one's really randomly generated. You're just following brick walls or flesh walls sometimes. There's lots of scribbles on the walls. It's weird.
So, a sewer level that didn't make you hate your life? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Whoa.
I think it was the best of the 3 levels.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the first level, the school one, is the most buggy by a long shot.
Sounds like it's just a testament of comparing it to the rest of the game, though.
True.
If you had this sewer level in...
Oh, I'm not comparing this to anything else except
game?
Just this game.
All right.
I can barely call it a game. It is an interactive experience. I thought it was just in the general idea of you are stuck in a location and you are trying to be the 1 in 4 who gets out in time. I think is an interesting concept. Right. I think, like, that's, if you said that, you just brought up that specific statistic, I'd go, and then you're like, make a video game. I'd go, oh yeah, it's like a speedrun. Like, that's interesting. But this game was very much so not made to be a game. And I think that's its largest fault. I had way more fun with it than I thought I was going to. It's bad. I would recommend it to anyone just for shits and giggles. Like, play it through once for 20 minutes and then never touch it again. Get some free cheap achievements. It's just weird because the inherent concept of running through dark passages against other contestants in this weird game show, like, survivor thing, that's cool. I like stuff like that. That's a type of horror I can play in a video game and not, like, shit myself. But this is just, I shat myself, but that was because I was bored and I just had to go to the bathroom.
Yet again, I'm telling you, I still want you to play Observer.
I'm going to. It's on my list.
I know it is, but bring it up on the list.
That's about it, honestly. There's no way to rank this game. I would not have paid for this if I had known it, but the fact that it was free made it kind of fun to, like, shitpost for, like, an hour or two. Just kind of sit there, dick around, listen to a podcast.
What if Bethesda gets their hands on it and remasters it?
You wouldn't be able to... This would not be a remaster. This would be a remake.
They charge you $10 for it.
If it's actually good. You'd have to, like, double...
You don't know.
You'd have to double the content, fix most of the tech problems. You literally would be remaking the entire game. There'd be no assets that you'd be able to carry over, technologically speaking. And expand it to have actually randomly generated stuff. Okay, fine, I'll pay a few bucks.
But it's still made by Bethesda.
They're competent enough. They have money. They have money. This game is more buggy than Fallout 76 was, and I played that at launch.
Dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I bought that.
Oof.
I was an idiot.
So that's why you're up my ass about not pre-ordering.
One of many, many games I regret pre-ordering. So that's all. That's literally all I have. I couldn't talk about this.
Nice.
If I was going to do a full critical analysis as a game dev, I could do this for an hour, and that's about it. Because I feel like that's about how long they spent on it.